Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. The beer is courtesy of Hop Butcher for the World. Thank you so much for sending it out. Really appreciate it. And this is Choice Stock Strata and Nectaron Hopped India Pale Ale, 6.5% ABV. I keep saying it in videos where Strata is one of the hops. It was a hop I was obviously aware of. Never thought much about it. I really liked what they've been doing with it, and it's actually made me appreciate that hops in other breweries' beers that are also using it. So really excited for that. And then the Nectaron, again, not that they introduced, well, not that they introduced me to Strata, but they introduced me to Nectaron, and I don't think I've had a beer from another brewery that's used it, but I would be very interested and excited to do that in the future when I see one. 6.5% ABV, I'm not mad about that at all. Great can art as always by Dan Jetsa, I love it. And it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, exactly 3 weeks old today. I can't quite make it out. Something Love X? Rev Love X? I don't know. I should have looked that up before to live on camera. Try not to look at the tasting notes to see what I get versus what they get. Proper glassware, so you know it's going to be delicious because everything tastes better in proper glassware. Like even just how the center image is staged with the surrounding, I love that. All right. Anyway, speaking of things I love this color. How about that? All right. So it does have a little bit different of a hue and slightly different color than a lot of the beers I've been drinking lately in like this hazy IPA style from them and other breweries. It's a little darker actually, and not much head. I mean, I know I didn't pour too aggressively, but I thought there'd be a little bit more head on it. It's a barely off white head. Yeah, okay, so I mean, you can get a decent head. Mike from Nerd says, I'm sure poured this and got a lot of head because he's really good at that. Yeah, looks beautiful. Is the short version. Let's get into the aroma. It's very candied. You know, I would think with the lower ABV, the IPA versus like a double or even a triple IPA, that it wouldn't be this sweet smelling, but it's very candied fruit. And it's like candied peach, candied apricot, candied pitted fruit, very much. I could see a little bit of dry mango in there. Wow, yeah, I mean it's interesting too because it's this candied fruit, or even, well, it's some mix of candied fruit or dried fruit. So like and that kind of makes sense because you're making it sweeter, right? Interestingly though, that's what I'm focusing on, that's what I'm getting, but it's not like cloyingly sweet in the aroma. There's a little bit of a generic tropical thing going. And there's this herbaceous note trying to fight through what I'm describing right now. I really like this aroma. It's familiar with enough different that it's interesting, and that's going a long ways for me right now. Really excited about the taste. Cheers. It drinks much more like I thought I was going to drink, being an IPA from them versus their double IPAs. So it does drink a little smaller. Still very nice mouthfeel. What I would say with the bitterness is it is somewhere in that pale ale to IPA bitterness. So it's up a little bit. Again, kind of thinking of like their 7.5% double IPAs. So I think, you know, knowing how they not market, but like how they do their packaging and what they call their beers based on certain things. I think this fits IPA for what they do. And also, because like that 7.5% double IPA, some people might be like, yeah, it's a little low ABV to call it double IPA. It's an interesting conversation I've had with a few people, if that is or is not true or the case or should even matter. Whereas this, I think, it drinks so much like an IPA, but then there's just enough where it's like, or could it be a pale ale kind of a thing? So that's pretty cool and interesting and different. And again, like I love drinking these kinds of beers, but sometimes to describe them, it's tough. Like I said, the aroma, there's enough different going on that this is kind of exciting to do, and I really appreciate that. So all that candied, dried fruit thing in the aroma, I used to say this about beers like Flower Power from Ithaca, where like it was hoppy pineapple. This is kind of like, it's not straight apricot or peach. It's hoppy apricot, hoppy peach. Like it's beer forward fruit notes versus is this juice or not kind of a thing. So it does have fruity, arguably juicy elements, but it's not super leaning into that. It's it's as interesting as it is delicious, which is high praise. The only knock for me is it's not kicking out too much of that strata, weedy thing that I've really liked from them in that hop and other beers. There's a little bit there. It's kind of like a lot of these experiences with this kind of a beer. You get the fruity, sweeter things up front and the bitterness comes. When that bitterness comes is where you get a little bit of that dank thing. But yeah, it's killer. All right, what do they say about it? Pink lemonade. You know what? They have said that. I didn't even think of that. They have said that with other beers that they, or at least one other beer that they use strata in. Okay, I'm going to go back and look for that. Pleasant dank. Blue raspberry. Huh. Blue raspberry. Like, does that exist in nature, or like how blue cotton candy, I think, is like blue raspberry, like candied blue raspberry? I'm curious. But the pink lemonade, that's what I'm more interested in looking for. Maybe in a sweet citric acid Smarties kind of a way. Okay. I see that. I see what they're going for with that. Yeah. I'd probably lean into the citric acid thing, but that's just, I've had Smarties more recently than pink. I don't remember the last time I had pink lemonade, whereas Smarties was one of the Halloween candies we gave out. We pre-bagged everything and put it outside for people who are like, how dare you do that during COVID? Everything was individually sealed. Kids could just come up and go. Don't need any angry comments. But we had a lot of Smarties left over, and I ate a crap ton of Smarties. And that's what it's kind of more making me think for that note. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's different but familiar. Which is keeping it interesting. It's delicious. So it's those things I look for in a beer like this. Yeah, really good. Thanks again for sending it. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Have you had this beer before? What do you think of IPA versus double IPA in terms of ABV, flavors, mouthfeel, all that kind of stuff? What's the difference to you? Let alone a pale ale like this one has a little bit of a note of. Anything, everything, comment section below. Check them out on Instagram and Untappd. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.